It was my senior year in high school, and I woke up one morning just like hungry. There was a pot of, I'm not even gonna hold you, it was some turkey necks on the stove. And I smelled them, went right to them, and I was like, I'm just gonna have one. Once I started eating them, I just kept on eating and kept on eating and kept on eating. And, I was living in a home in what started off as a foster home, and then they ended up adopting my younger sister and I. And most of the time, the foster mom, adopted mom, wouldn't cook for us. She'd cook for her husband. And so I feel like I had just had enough. And so I ate and I ate and I ate and I kept eating. And honestly, I don't know how many were left, but I ate. This pissed her off completely. So I heard my name and I went to go see what she wanted. And I just was like doing something to my face, like I was washing my face and I still had like face cream or something on. And she was so pissed, she starts screaming and yelling and calling me all kinds of names. And then she raises her hand to me. And I caught it. And I was like, that's it. No more. And that was the last time she was able to physically abuse me. The verbal abuse got worse after that. The emotional abuse got way worse after that, especially after I tore my ACL that year playing ball. And a lot of those things, like, I kept with me for a very long time, and it was like very intense to try and heal from that. But I'm so glad I was able to do so. I had to acknowledge that these things actually happened and not just like sweep them under the rug and wait for time to heal all wounds. I feel like time, as it goes by, it's not helping you heal, it's helping you to sort of minimize the memory of it. But you actually have to deal with it, and you have to come to terms with the fact that maybe I was abused, I was assaulted, I have traumas from these sorts of things, and it doesn't go away until you begin to heal it. And so that's what I started to do. I started to, speak these things aloud, and I would write journals, and I would go on like meditative walks, and I would like speak it out and sort of help me understand that the things I went through, a lot of people go through, but you really don't know it. You really don't believe it. You think it's just you because you're in this world of hurt and this world of pain, and most of the time you're dealing with it by yourself if you're not like talking to a therapist or like your friends about it. And it sort of feels like you're on this island alone. And what I'm realizing is that it's not just me who's gone through this. So many people have gone through this. And I don't know how foster care is in any other state or any other city or anything like that, but what I do know is that the foster care system is very flawed, and it allowed abuse. And to say it aloud is like very, very, very tough. But I know that there's sex trafficking, and I know that there's human trafficking, and I know that there is just not just physical abuse, but like neglect, and children are malnourished and all sorts of things. And we grow up and we sort of like want to forget it. Oh, that was a part of my past. Well, in order for your present to be a place where you thrive, in order for your future to be something you aspire to, goals that you want to accomplish and a life that you want to live, it is very important to heal from these traumas, or you're stuck in your past forever. And you don't realize it, and you don't understand it until you're having a child of your own, and you find yourself sort of treating them the same way that you were treated, I know it's not intentional, but when you don't heal from things that have traumatized you and have given you hurt and pain and, tragedies, you take them out on the people that you love. And sometimes the people that are defenseless, these people that cannot defend themselves against your rapture, against this torture. So, yes, I just wanted to, there's some things that I'm just clearing the air about, and this is one of them. There was physical abuse, there was mental abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, all kinds of abuse in this foster home. And there was neglect, and there were, I was raised in this home where this foster mom already had children of her own, and they were very privileged. You could tell the difference in how she treated us and in how she treated them. My friends would come over if that were allowed, and there were chore lists. All of the foster kids had their names on the chore list, and her son's name was not on there at all. Like, he would skate around and he would be able to do anything he wanted to do, and there would be like no punishment. And if he did do something that was just like ridiculous, there was always an excuse for it. There was always a reason why, and it would get blamed back on one of the foster kids. Like, it created this atmosphere of just like hierarchy. And, it was done on purpose, of course, but what I will say is that I know that mistreatment and then that level of, I don't even want to say love, because I don't believe it's love that she gave him. I believe that it's just privilege that she gave him. And because love is not harmful, love is not pain, love doesn't cause you to neglect children and sort of treat a child in a way that is just no discipline, no balance. It's sort of like, have what you want, I'll make excuses for you when you do the things that are just like horrible. And it created this monster. Like, she was a monster, and in turn, he was a monster. I mean, he tried to sexually abuse me when I first came to the house. And I don't even want to say tried. Like, we were lying in bed, and he gets in bed behind me, and he's like humping on me. I'm 8-9 years old. He's much older than me, and I believe that they had foster kids in the home before. So I'm not sure if he had done that to them, but he definitely did that to me. And so there was always this very eerie and like sort of like feeling that I had towards him because of that, and then more because of the way she treated him and then the way she treated us. He just got to do anything he wanted to do, and was just, she would, when my dad would take us to our grandmother's house, his mom's house, he never had to go. And this was her way of like getting all of the kids out of the house, because she just couldn't deal with it. Even though she didn't give a shit about us, she didn't take care of us, she was never there for us. And if she was, it was on the surface. And because she was a preacher, trigger warning, like, I know some of you go through this, she was able to get away with whatever she wanted to. We couldn't say, well, bump that, I did say that there was abuse. I was saying these things, but I wasn't made to look like, oh no, you poor thing, I can't believe this is happening. It's just kind of like, well, what you do? It's like, what you mean, what I do? She's abusing us and pitting my sister and I against one another. Like, I remember her always saying to my younger sister, you're only here because of Jasmine. And I never understood what that meant, and I think now I'm coming to terms with what that means. I do believe that there is an inheritance that I was supposed to have been given, that I was supposed to have been tapped into, and I knew nothing about it. Nothing about it. So I know that those words came from a place of hate. They came from a disturbing place, and it worked. For my sister, it worked. And I always remember her just like honestly hating me. And I mean, what can I do? There's only so much I can do when the person who she needed her, she like craved her. Our mother died when we were very young. I was 3. I believe my sister may have been 1. So she was craving that like mother energy, that like nurturing energy. And because our foster mom was so abusive and narcissistic that, and low-key like a sociopath, I do believe she poisoned my dad. I do believe she poisoned us through the food that she would make for us, but mostly my dad. And literally she would pit us, you know, like against one another. And my sister was just kind of like, well, I need this. I need this nurturing energy. I need to feel loved by this mother figure. And she knew that. And so she sort of like did her thing. She pretended, or she made it look like this was like love and she wanted to nurture and give to her, but that wasn't the case. And now, we didn't get to the house when I was 3 and my younger sister was 1. We got there when I was around 8 years old. So through that whole entire time, there was no like mother figure. Like, we were in and out of foster homes. We were like living with relatives. I don't know who these people were. I know that the first place, I believe, was our step-grandmother, who was just so abusive. She was so angry. She was so mean. I honestly feel like she hated us as well, and she hated that she now had this responsibility to take care of 5 children. And I honestly believe that she hated my mom. So was like jealous of my mom somehow, some reason. And so the fact that she had to take care of her children, oh my gosh. So she treated us horribly. She was so abusive to us. And so my sister didn't get that mother nurturing energy that she craved from, you know, our step grandmother. And then we just sort of like went place to place. Hi. Good morning.